Henry Wilson, a 62-year-old retired mechanic, lived a simple life in a small town surrounded by friends and family. He spent his days tending to his garden, fixing old cars, and spoiling his grandkids. But one fateful day, Henry's life took a drastic turn. A local businessman, Richard Langley, reported a large sum of money stolen from his office. The police investigation led them to Henry, who had done some repair work for Langley in the past. Despite Henry's protests of innocence, the police found a suspicious transaction on his bank statement, which they claimed was proof of his guilt. The prosecution built a case around this evidence, and Henry was charged with theft. The trial was a blur for Henry. He remembered feeling confused, scared, and helpless as the prosecution presented their case. His lawyer did her best to defend him, but the evidence seemed stacked against him. In the end, the jury delivered a guilty verdict, and Henry was sentenced to 20 years in prison. As he stood in the courtroom, listening to the judge's words, Henry felt his world crumbling around him. The next 2 decades were a struggle for Henry. He was separated from his loved ones, forced to share a small cell with strangers, and subjected to the harsh realities of prison life. Despite the hardships, Henry held on to his innocence and refused to give up. He spent his days reading, writing, and exercising, trying to maintain some semblance of hope. Years went by, and Henry's family never gave up on him. His grandkids grew up, and his children continued to fight for his freedom. One day, a young journalist, Sarah, stumbled upon Henry's case while researching wrongful convictions. She became convinced of Henry's innocence and decided to investigate further. Sarah discovered a shocking revelation. Richard Langley, the businessman who had accused Henry, had a history of shady dealings and had been involved in several scandals. It seemed that Langley had framed Henry to cover his own tracks. Sarah's findings sparked a new investigation, and eventually, the truth came to light. Henry's conviction was overturned, and he was finally exonerated. At the age of 82, Henry walked out of prison a free man. His family was overjoyed to be reunited with him, and the community rallied around him, apologizing for the injustice he had suffered. Henry's story spread like wildfire, raising awareness about wrongful convictions and the importance of fighting for justice. Though his life had been forever changed, Henry's spirit remained unbroken, and he continued to inspire those around him.